Welcome back, everybody. This is just Mike. Don't forget to subscribe and all the other good stuff because it's free. Anyway, today I have a special clock I absolutely love because it's totally different when it comes to these cuckoo clocks. And I actually have two of them, but for now, and they both do the same thing, but for now they both need cleaning, and I'm going to show you just the one, and I'm going to clean it and get it operating again. Right now the problem is that when the bird comes out, he keeps cuckooing and he doesn't stop. But the bonus, let me show you. The bonus is when the music's playing, this fiddler here rocks his arm back and forth like he's playing the fiddle. So anyway, in the two doors here, the one has the cuckoo bird, and in the other door, the mistress. Now how cute is that? Mushrooms. Yes, this clock is very dirty, dusty. But anyway, it needs new hands. Let's take this thing apart and see what we need to do to it besides cleaning the works. Besides being very dirty, I don't have my glasses on, but maybe you can read that for what it plays. And this does have two different music tunes in it. It does have little doors, which are kind of unique with that little catch that open up to the inside. So on the clock, like I say, it's full of cobwebs and everything else, but here's a little bird that just sits here. I already took the wires off to the lady and the cuckoo bird so we can take them through. I took the hands off. As you can see, I'm going to have to do something about this here, which they do sell individual Roman numerals you can put back on here, and that's probably what I'll do because this is a wood dial, which tells you pretty much that this is an older clock for sure. This clock also, you can see that this piece must have fallen off at one time and someone made a new one, which the grains are all going this way. This clock is pretty much painted, so realistically this could be painted with and hidden those grains, but they didn't do that bad of a job of cutting it out to copy that side. Don't know, like I say, I don't know what happened to the original because I got this clock used and for a very good price. So real close up, it says Germany here. I don't know what it says before that, but there is something on there. And then someone's got W281. So whether that's when they cleaned it or what happened to this clock, I have no idea. This is plywood. You can see the piece of it has fallen off. This is a big clock. I should measure it real quick. And show you about it. There's some writing in there, but I think I'll wait until I get the works out. I'm going to say for sure this here is probably pre-World War One mainly because of this, but you can look at the works and the works definitely has an old look to it. And of course your music box in there. And the bellows. So let's get this thing out and clean it and see what we have here. I got the whistle boxes out. I got that extra rod off. So on here, in which most are cuckoo clocks, this one here has this arm here, and if you were to trigger it, what that is, as you can see, it's pulling the girl on this side. But you trigger that, and normally, as long as your clock's not ready to start cuckooing, that will trigger it to start playing, for example, the music on this side. And on this side, you'd be triggering the cuckoo bird to start cuckooing. So looking for numbers on the front of the clock, I don't see anything. And I see nothing on the back side either. So let me get these two off of here and throw this in the cleaner. So for the lady, I don't know if they heated it up or what they did and then punctured it through, but there's realistically no adjustment to get her on, off, or anything else. I don't know if you can see better now how dirty her face looks. Look at that frown on her face. I'm not sure if she's happy that he came to visit her or not. This is what it says, but it must be in German. So I'm going to see about trying to type this out. So in here you can see the, let's call it the crude cuts around for the door. Get that open. Okay, I got it figured out what this is. Let me show you. This is what makes his arm move like he's playing the violin. How unique is that? The wire comes through here to mess with that. Okay, I got it dusted off, and you can see how they painted the roof on here. You can see the wear in here. This feels like something was dropped on it right here because it does go down a little bit and it is showing some cracking. So I think what I'll do is I'm going to take this string here off, because what all it does is comes up and goes to his fiddle here, so it looks like he's actually playing. So let me repair that, and I'm going to have to look to see if I have some numbers I can re-glue on here. All this while the works is in the clock cleaning fluid. Okay, so far I painted this with flat black paint because I'm going to use it again. And for his violin string, I have this fishing line, which you can't really see, but they use 2 pieces there. I'm going to end up probably having to use 3, maybe 4 pieces, which is fine to stick from here and up through his violin rod there. And then I'm going to try my hand at painting this, and I'm going to have to paint both of them so they match. But you can see they're brown, and then they got the dark colors in between. So I'm going to have to try to mimic that. I'm not going to show it because I'm not saying I'm any type of artist, but we're going to fake it on there. Well, like I said, I'm no expert, but now it matches. So now I'm going to try some of the numbers that I ordered online. They come in little packs, and they're all stuck together, so you have to trim them. Let me show you. They all come together, stuck together, whatever, and you have to cut them out to what you need. And there's enough here just for one set on the clock. You order the right height you need, and I already have mine cut, so let me show you that real quick, but I'm not going to show you gluing them on. I'm just going to use the normal wood glue and use a pair of tweezers to help me get them on there. Here I have them all cut out, and I got them lined up the way I need to put them back on. So let me get gluing on this and see how it turns out. So I got them glued on, and for a little secret, because this is the first time I've ever done it, go ahead and take your glue bottle and glue the toothpick, and then take the toothpick and glue the side of the toothpick, and don't put a ton on there, and then you can go ahead and glue the lines or whatever to get that so it doesn't have glue oozing out everywhere. And as far as I'm concerned, I think this might be my first time, maybe my second, I don't remember, but I think it looks pretty good. Showing on here, I did get the fishing line. There's 3 of them on there together, so now it looks like he's actually got some string to play the fiddle. So far I think it's looking good. Now if this will dry up a little bit, I can go ahead and bring the works in and get it oiled. Okay, we got the clock clean, dried, and ready for oil. I want you to notice we have a new spring here, and there's a new spring also on the other side, which tells you that this clock has been worked on before. And I was kind of surprised to find it, believe it or not, at Goodwill online. So let me get this thing oiled up. See, this here, to me it looks like a new gear because it's black. It very well could be, but you can tell by this shape that's in here. What do they call that, a harp? That kind of gives you an idea. This here gives you an idea. On this type, each hole represents one cuckoo, and then when it gets to the hour, it'll do however many cuckoos it is, because this rod here it'll keep cuckooing, and it'll be bouncing across the top of here until it's able to drop down, and that's what's supposed to shut the cuckoo off. And so the distance is what's telling the hour now on the vintage works here. Now, of course, I've gone through and looked at each one of these where you oil. That's where these gears come through. And like I said, I think this clock's been worked on before because all these really look good. They're tight. They're not wore down. Normally you'll see them wore all in one area. It's not a full circle. It just wears straight down. Like I say, all these look really good. And so the oil I plan on using is your normal clock oil, because this is an older works and it doesn't say synthetic on it, so should use the regular oil, I imagine. It's fine with me. Now I'm ready to put it in the box. This one here keeps coming out, which isn't a heart attack. Just you can push it back in. Let me take it back out and show you. It just falls out. Make sure the teeth are up. And you just push it back in, turn it around, get it back where it's supposed to be. And it actually locks itself in against the plate. But I keep spinning this around, it keeps getting past this, the gong, and then it just pops out. So to show you this part here, you can see it's starting to raise. I just triggered it. I see that it keeps going, so that's what I got to figure out the adjustment on here. I set the clock back in the case, and I didn't take the rings off yet, so I need to take them off because where the ring is will now be the hook because of the way I fed it in there, which is a normal thing. That's why you take the hooks and the ring off in order to thread your clock back the way I'm doing it now after you've cleaned it. Okay, on this clock here, it kept cuckooing all the time. I couldn't get it to stop. So what I did is this here wheel's the wheel that counts the half hour and hour as it goes around. And I was thinking, there's this little gear down here that maybe for some reason it slipped a tooth or something, and no matter what I did, it wouldn't change. So I went ahead and took this screw out, and this here is connected with this gear down below, and I pulled it out and I made it do the cuckoo, and it'd cuckoo once every time. And so I thought, well, that's where the problem is. And so this rod that drops down in here, it's a rod right here, let's see if we can get a little more light in there. Is that too much light? That might be too much, I don't know. Anyway, this rod that sits here was tipped going this way a little bit. And so I straightened it out. And so now it makes a nice slice in here where it's supposed to be. And now the cuckoo works the way it's supposed to, shuts off as soon as it hits in here until it's triggered to do the half hour. And then when it's triggered to do however many hours this here dial tells it needs to cuckoo. So I consider that something new that I've learned and a success. And hopefully if you guys have a problem with an older works like this and it won't stop cuckooing, which like I say, this here I'm pretty sure is pre-World War I, that you'll have this type of a dial, I guess we'll call it, in here. And that was the problem, is just straightening this wire out. Took me quite a while to look this thing over, trying to figure out what was wrong, and finally came up with it's this little gear right here. And I can trigger it up so you can see it, I do believe. Yeah. Let me try to turn this off again. That's in the way a little bit, but it's just right here. So that little rod moving, it wasn't cutting in there properly. So anyway, my next thing is to figure out what size weight this needs. I'll tell you the weight I've been using. Hold on a second. So the weight that I've been using, which it ticks just fine. I haven't tried setting the speed of the clock yet because I need to make the hands that's going to work on this. I have to carve the circle out for the hour hand and carve a nice square hole in the minute hand. But for now, this says it's a 420 ET, I think it says there. Also on this clock, I don't think this is original. The hammer has got this, we'll call it felt pad on here, and so you don't even hear the gong when this thing hits. And so out of another clock, I do have this metal part here that should make it the decent sound as that cuckoo's. I won't throw that away, and just in case, I'm going to take a look at my other clock that looks exactly like this and see what they have in here. But I've heard that a lot of people will change this, and if you can't hear the gong, why even have it? So I need to change that out also. And it's just a screw on the back of there, and this one, you just push it on, it has that little lock there that keeps it from coming off. Yeah, that gives me room to play, and like I say, you can move this a little bit. You don't want to get too carried away. Okay, I had 275 on here, and now for a weight, and now I do believe it's a 420. So now to carve the hands so they fit. This here was carved before, and you see I have a round hole here, which originally came with this insert for a smaller, or the newer clock, we'll say, not anything pre-World War is bigger. And so this hole needs a match instead of a round hole. And so by the looks of it, the sides are pretty much good. And I'm also using the darker ones because that's the color of the letters, that yellow finish on there. So let me get to carving and putting it up there. Obvious, this here round hole here needs to be way bigger because it fits on first. But one step at a time. I'm going to attack this hand first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a razor blade knife and slowly chip away at it until I can get the right size that fits on there good and tight. So when you move this as a minute hand, it will be tight and hopefully strike right on the hour where it's supposed to be instead of being off a little bit.